What is going on? What happened? Lovelies. What happened, lovelies? How we doing? How we doing? We got some breaking news. We got breaking news day for Crossroads. So get hyped, ladies and gentlemen. Things just hit the fan. Things hit the fan. What is going on? Oh my god, there's an echo. Stop it.
What
Stop it.
happened?
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Alright, cool. What's up? We got Darky in the chat. How you doing, bro? Us. Ooh, 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 ooh. We got the boy Christian. Christian, what's going on? How you doing? Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
This is not how I expected this morning to go.
Yeah, I was.
This is quite okay. I'm literally gonna go in blind.
Okay.
I'm not reading nothing. We're just gonna go at it.
All right.
But let me do this.
I woke up at like 8, so I was
Uh-huh.
like, I have an exam at 1,
Right.
so I was like, I'll study a bit. I'll be awake for the show. I don't
Right.
have time to breakfast or anything, but I'd be awake. And I wake up, I pull up Twitter, and then I see 5 minutes ago,
Oh
PlayStation
no.
5.
Why do they do this to me? Why do they do this to us? You know what I'm saying?
Man,
No, but imagine if we still had the old time for Cross
yeah,
Circle. We would have been screwed. I mean, it just would have been separate videos, so like it would have been fine, but still. All right, the tweets up if you wanna.
I'm gonna fix my LED. 1 second.
Yeah, you do that while you. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You're good. You're good. Go ahead. All right. Oh, I'm trying to avoid every spoiler. I don't wanna. I don't wanna know what's going on until we're there. What's up, Jatis? How you doing, bro? We got Kane Rubios in the chat. How you doing, bro? How y'all? How y'all doing today? Are
Fine.
y'all? Are y'all doing good? I need to. I need to. Oh my God! Stop! 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 Why is my browser doing this?
I have to pull up articles.
Isaiah says PlayStation sucks. No, homie, no, no. Greatness awaits. Greatness awaits. So, all right. Once I am, why did I go to the official PlayStation account instead of PlayStation Source?
All I'll say to the PlayStation sucks. Does Xbox have the greatest game of all time? Kingdom
Mm.
Hearts 2? I don't think so.
Wait, which game?
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh, I thought you
Best game of all
just.
time.
I, thought, I don't know why. I thought you said Gwent, the card
Gwent,
game.
oh, Gwent's alright. Gwent's good.
I have never tried it. I'm just not one to. I'm not one to play digital card games if I may. All right, I see this hello about new controller. Are we talking about dual? Are we talking about DualShock 5 today?
We are.
Oh, that's really happening. Oh man. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. Right. I need Christian for you to fill the air. I'm gonna run to the kitchen, grab my French press and the creamer, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. I'll be right back.
How's everybody doing? You having a good day so far? It's pretty early. It's 11 over here. It's early for Kevin. But yeah, PS5. PS5. Let me pull up the chat so I can actually see what's happening. Uh, let's see here. 11 people watching. Shout out. How y'all doing? I mean, personally, I'm a fan of. I like things about all the consoles, even a PC. I built a PC recently. Spider-Man 2 PS5 launch title. That's an interesting prediction. I don't know if I agree. That would be cool, but I don't know if I agree. We're probably gonna touch on that in the episode very briefly though, because there's like only a little bit of info about what games are coming. If I had to make a guess for a big PlayStation exclusive day one, I think it would be Horizon 2. I was honestly betting that we'll save it for the episode, but I was betting Ghost was going to be a PS5 launch title, but apparently not. Well, Nick Dosher, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that pronunciation. There is official announcement from the PlayStation Twitter account, the PlayStation blog, and a breakdown from Wired that we're going to condense into the next 50 minutes or so, all about the PS5, what to expect from it, what the deal is. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited. Got to start saving up. Yeah, Horizon 2 is going to be a good one. I'm excited for Horizon 2. I played Horizon later in 2017, but I still played it late. But I was very pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed Horizon, so I'm so ready for Horizon 2. Do you guys in the chat have any questions or expectations or hopes about the PS5? I don't know about that. Not necessarily like launch titles, but like maybe a feature, because we're gonna talk about some features on board. Interesting comments in this PlayStation article on the PlayStation blog about user interface, stuff like that. Kevin has not read any of this information yet, so he's going in blind. Shout out to the 21 people watching right now. We're about to kick things off once Kevin gets back with his coffee.
Oh shit! God, huh?
There he is. There's the man.
So, the French press lid broke, but we fixed it. We're good. Is that PlayStation Plus podcast in the chat? How you doing, bro? How you doing, G? I've seen you around Twitter. I haven't seen anything. Horizons. If you're spoiling it, boys.
No, we're just talking hopes.
Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, actually, I should switch the layout to the other layout. Okay, yeah. This is what we're gonna do. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do this. All right. So, what do I need to do here?
I'm good to roll straight into it if you want. I can get this thing going while you're making your coffee good.
Yeah. Here, give me just one moment. I'm just gonna prepare the
layout.
Yeah, the layout to pull up the article. Can you link me in Discord, and then I'll roll the intro. We'll be good.
Yes.
All right, dope.
Do you want the Wired article or the Wired article and the PlayStation blog post?
I'll have both. If they pertain to everything, I'll do both, and I'll just pull them up over here. All right, let's do that. All right, I'm rolling intro right now. Cheer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cross Circle episode something. We
55.
didn't put in the title.
55.
I'm your
Wait,
host, Christian Buckley.
Did I miss it? Oh, I missed it. Oh my god. Okay.
We can add it later.
Yeah.
I'm your host,
fine.
Christian Buckley. Joining me for a special episode talking all about the PlayStation 5 is Kevin Diaz.
How you doing? Good morning, lovelies. I got all this stuff here. So we had a completely different show planned today.
We did.
We had a very, very different show planned. And then I woke up today. I had Christian talking about Wired.com interview. I'm like, dude, like the one from like May? Like what are you talking about? I didn't know that there was some breaking news today. I can't. And this is honestly very shocking because we had, the state of play recently, right? And they said, hey, we're not talking PS5, So I figured, okay, like that was your cue that, all right, you won't talk about PS5 until next year, or
right.
Until like January, February date, maybe Game Awards. But I just figured, all right, we won't be hearing about PlayStation 5 officially until next year or something like that. But I guess that's not the case. I guess we're here.
It's not.
I guess,
So,
yeah.
like you mentioned, we did have a different show planned. This news came out this morning. I was talking in the pre-show, rolled out of bed, pulled up Twitter. There it is, PlayStation 5. So we're kind of just going to roll with it. I got a bunch of info pulled up about this official reveal, some things to expect. The next DualShock. We got really in-depth about the DualShock
About the new DualShock
5.
for
It's not named that yet, but that's probably what it's going to be called.
real? Wow. And I'm going in blind here. I haven't
Yes.
even read any of the articles yet, so this is going to be quite interesting.
Okay, so ground level, I guess.
Okay.
The PlayStation 5 is officially coming out holiday 2020.
Right.
We see that. That's the title of the PlayStation blog post. Jim Ryan, who is basically head honcho
Yeah.
of either some division of Sony, specifically PlayStation, not too sure what his jurisdiction is. He's a big deal.
Right.
He's kind of the big deal. We see him at TGS in the past, Paris Games Week, Gamescom. I've seen Jim Ryan on the international stage more than the national one with E3 and stuff like that.
Right.
So Jim Ryan made this PlayStation blog announcement that the PS5 is coming 2020.
Wait, how long? Oh, never mind. It looks really long from the scrolling, but it's only like a few paragraphs. But okay, it's because the comments, I bet. But
Yeah, probably. Or ads. Ads always make a page longer than it needs to be.
yeah, all right, I think you're right.
But I digress. PlayStation 5, this whole announcement today, there's a very in-depth Wired article, which is a follow-up to the Wired article earlier in the year where we talked about load times, SSD, a few improvements to the next gen of consoles. But I guess from my takeaway of both these articles, the main thing is that efficiency
Mm-hmm.
is the name of the game for next gen.
Yeah.
We're cutting down load times. We're cutting down file sizes because the way a normal hard drive works is developers usually duplicate assets so that way they're faster to load in
Right.
on the file size, and that's why we can have games that reach over 100 gigs when you don't expect them to be. Like, why is Spider-Man 80 gigs?
Red Dead 2 is like.
Red Dead 2, I understand.
Oh, you mean like why are some games like 80? Right. Okay, that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
okay, right. Makes sense. Spider-Man's like definitely a
So-
smaller open world than Red Dead. Yeah.
Because I never knew this, and the article actually educated me on this, the fact that developers use that duplication system to make load times more efficient on a normal hard drive, but because of the SSD, if you're not familiar, standard state drive,
Solid
it's kind
state
of a
drive.
yes.
Got you.
It's early. It works the same way that cartridges used to work for video games, and that was the comparison they drew in the article, because the way cartridges used to work is that when you load a cartridge, the game is loaded. It
Right.
has access to all the information on that cartridge instantly because of the way cartridges work. It's the same way you pop an SD card in, it's like instant, Like
Right.
you have access to all that information.
Yeah.
So because of SSD, because of the implementation of this, developers are going to have the opportunity to not have to duplicate, and they're going to have more freedom in the way they give us these worlds. We learned with Spider-Man, the reason Spider-Man moves at the speed he does in that game is because that's the fastest they can render New York City.
Which I know we didn't get that footage officially released. Wait, did we? Or was it off camera?
People recreated it.
It was. It looked so cool.
Yeah.
It was very. It was like, wow, that's insane. That like, man, like it's not that they made Peter have that speed in the world. It's like that was the limitation that they had
that
to
was
drawing the actual.
the best they
Yeah,
could do.
yeah, it was super cool to see. Super cool.
So they detail that developers are no longer going to have to slow down players artificially. the allowances of having an SSD is going to open up developers to not have to duplicate, like I said. So that means smaller file size, which means they have more room with their file size to deliver more detailed worlds, more open worlds, more intricate worlds. So as far as next gen goes, it's like I said, it's about optimization. And because of that optimization, more doors are going to be opened for new possibilities on things that we probably haven't seen anything like yet.
100%. Yeah, yeah. I just really want to see, like, essentially, like you said before, like, we have insane looking games, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're gonna get even insane looking games visually speaking, with next gen stuff like that. But like you said, I think the biggest shift we're gonna see and the real focus of improvement this time around with this gen is definitely gonna be like how the game actually runs,
Yeah.
and like how it's physically running in the background, and how those differences are going to transpire into actual real gameplay.
For sure.
I think it's gonna be cool.
But faster load times, this is old news,
Right.
We've been there.
It's SSD. Right.
This new article brings us some new information.
The
Okay.
Blogspot or Wired?
Both of them.
Okay.
One of the things that is mentioned, I believe, in the Wired article from interviews with Mark Cerny, the system architect of the PS4 and the PS5. Mark Cerny was talking about user interface, and that I believe either he or the writer who did the Wired article, if you can shout them out, not sure who it is.
Yes. Peter Rubin.
Okay.
Peter.
So
Rubin.
either Rubin or Cerny were talking about how the PlayStation 4 is straightforward, not necessarily clunky, but like the interface we see when we pop open the PlayStation 4, it's like, if you want to see what your friends are doing, you have that opportunity, but if you want details, you have to load up that application, see what they're doing specifically.
Right.
The PlayStation 5 interface is going to reach a point, so they're saying, this is the plan for it. They want it to be incredibly dynamic in a way that if you have single-player games on your PS5,
okay,
in your interface, when you turn the PS5 on, the interface is going to give you information about missions that are available for you to do in your single-player games.
Through the main menu?
Through the dashboard, yeah.
What the...
So let's say...
Wait, is that tying back... Complete interjection. I'm sorry to, cut you off, but is this somehow maybe connected to that PlayStation AI patent that we had last week? Did you remember seeing that?
Cerny did mention that, and he said they're not talking about anything like that at this moment.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Rubin in the Wired article did mention that they noticed a hole in the DualShock, which we will get to, which made him curious about a microphone for an AI companion. But that I don't think that has to do with the interface about
got it.
mission structure.
Got it.
So they're going to be able to pull information from your single-player games, be like, hey, Red Dead 2, you can rob this train right now if you hop in. Here's what your friend's doing in Red Dead Online if you want to do that instead. Call of Duty, here's your dailies. Fortnite, here's your dailies.
Okay,
that's Fortnite, here's what's in the shop.
That's like pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. And like, I assume it'll just be like PlayStation providing that space for that information, and then publishers and devs going in, well, probably devs probably, and like planning out what would be in those spots, I guess is what I'm saying, if that makes sense. Or is it, or like, are they talking like, yo, this is all just automatically going to be done for all games, Sony side, like hardware side?
It sounds like it's a part of the hardware.
That's nuts.
It sounds like it is some sort of algorithm in the design of the PS5 itself that pulls information from your save data.
Right.
And maybe there's descriptions provided by developers. So it's like, if this person gets to this point in the game, this is the description for this mission that they could see. So maybe they have to do write-ups the way they do write-ups for trophies or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like the way that these mission informations, these opportunities are curated, it seems like it's a Sony end thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so weird. Damn.
Yeah, it's very weird.
That
they
sounds
also
really cool.
mentioned in a similar vein that Cerny was talking about more consumer choice, and we've seen this be dabbled with this generation. This is something they brought up in the past, talking about the division of what you want on your hard drive for a certain title. Recently, I reinstalled The Last of Us Remastered.
Mm-hmm.
When I booted it up, it said, "Hey, you want to download the single player campaign or you want to download factions?"
Yes. Yeah.
It was like single player, factions, both. I got to choose.
Yeah. Which is really cool. Yeah. I know that.
So what Mark Cerny says, another thing that they really want to hammer in on is that when you download a game, say, let's say Uncharted 4 on next gen,
Right.
a port of Uncharted 4, something like that.
Okay.
I can download the single player campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I can download the multiplayer campaign. I get to choose which one I want to download. And once I beat, say I have them both downloaded, if I beat the single player campaign, I can delete that and keep the multiplayer on my hard drive.
Ah, okay. That's where because I'm talking about, I'm like, man, like I know like with the PS4 you can choose which one it downloads first.
Hmm.
But now I can have in theory the multiplayer of like the Call of Duty whatever 2024 whatever downloaded and delete the campaign.
Yes.
That's cool. That is real. Okay. All right. That's actually
That's
really cool. That's a big
that's one of the
difference.
most appealing things for me.
That is fire. That's gonna save so much because I know there's probably gonna be an issue of save space. Well, I mean, if you said like they are trying to lower down file sizes without having to duplicate a bunch of different
Yes.
assets, so I'm sure file sizes will see either like plateau or go a little bit down. But that's an issue that we have today with hard drive. Like I have a 2 terabyte hard drive in my Pro.
Mhm.
And it's rare I have to delete stuff, but when I
Yeah.
had the 500 gig on my last PS4, I had to delete stuff. Like I would almost only have like 5 games available to have on my hard
Right.
drive, and I had to
And
delete and swap it out. Yeah, so that's really cool though.
yeah, and I think something like that's going to be very beneficial because if we keep in mind the pricing structure of SSD hard drives at the moment, it's looking like the odds are we're only getting 500 gigs on the base system.
Which I'm like, oh man, that's so small now. Like
But
500 gigs seemed like a lot with PS4, but
man, Red Dead,
oh my god,
GTA, Spider-Man, Battlefront 2, that's like my entire hard drive
that's it.
right there.
Literally, that's
That's
it.
it.
Damn.
Um,
Oof.
so Cerny went on to mention though that PS5 games are gonna, for physical versions of the game,
Uh huh.
gonna have up to 100 gigs on an optical disc. This current gen, we know it's 50. That's why games like Red Dead and Final Fantasy have two 50 gigabyte Blu-ray discs,
Part 2 as well. Yeah.
right? Um, so again, it's more opening up possibilities for developers to provide new experiences, streamlined experiences.
Right. 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 Right.
Also going to have a 4K Blu-ray player.
It is okay.
Finally.
That's what I was about to ask because like that was the weirdest thing this gen where the Xbox had a Blu-ray player,
Yeah,
but the PlayStation 4 didn't. Very very odd. Okay, like how they kind of said that out the gate. Not that I feel physical is even that. But I guess that's a big question I want to ask you before we move on. Like with, do you think we'll have physical games next gen?
Yeah.
Not PS5, but the one after.
Oh, the gen after?
Yeah. Is
I don't know,
this
man.
the last physical? You know what? Let's not talk about PS6. We just got PS5 news.
Um, but yeah, I have to say, like so far, we're really hammering in on the technical aspects, the optimization stuff that they're talking about, and I think this presentation of this information has me more ready for next gen than I have been so far.
This is a lot. This is so odd that they're saying all of this right now.
Yeah.
You know?
So the theory I've seen some people tweeting is that they wanted to get ahead of a leak or something. So maybe that's it.
I mean,
Don't know.
they're doing a really good job because, I mean, with the Wired.com article that was back in May, like, I didn't see anything like the only thing that's come out recently that I remember was the AI patent, but that's a
Right.
patent. Patents always come out. That's not a big deal, and that's not really telling officially of what they're doing. It's just ideas that they wanted to patent. But
Definitely, yeah.
this is so. Let's talk a little bit. I don't know if you were gonna shift gears and anything, but let's talk about DualShock 5 because
Yeah.
I don't know
So,
if you know. I
mhm.
think the DualShock 4 is near a perfect controller.
That's interesting. I think it feels nice, but I think it is garbage.
Wow. I
I
love it. I think it's great.
The
I think
thing that
it's
makes it garbage is the goddamn battery life. It is horrible.
yeah, I
I have
guess.
two of
Yeah.
those things.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you have two?
I have two DualShocks that I'm glad I have two because the second one dies after 3 hours of playing a game. I can just plug it in and take the other
Three
one out.
hours?
Dude, they don't last long.
Dude, I swear I've done like 5, 6 hour binges and had my controller not die.
Okay,
Honestly. That's so odd. Interesting.
I don't know.
Okay.
But in the Jim Ryan write-up on the PlayStation blog, they did dive into what we can assume will be called the DualShock 5.
Indeed.
It is also brought up in the Wired article. Wired has a more in-depth description of what it looks like. They said it's very similar in its feel and look to the DualShock 4.
Okay. So the touchpad is making a return, I'm assuming?
No specific mention of the touchpad, but they did say felt very, very similar
To the
to
DualShock
this
4.
bad boy right here.
Fire.
Um, so the key difference that was described in the Wired article, because it is a consumer using this thing, is that it's heavier. It's a
Okay.
heavier controller than the DualShock 4 because
Okay.
there's more going on the inside.
Right. Right.
They said it's not as heavy as a current gen Xbox controller with batteries in it, but it is heavier than a DualShock 4.
So it's somewhere in between there. Okay. Got it.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So the thing that Jim Ryan really hammered in on in his write up on the blog is that they want to create a controller that makes gaming more immersive. And I think this is another example of Nintendo getting ahead of the curve with
Mm.
HD Rumble
No way.
because
Oh my god. They're bringing HD
it's
Rumble to PS5.
kinda. So they mentioned instead of Rumble, they are using haptics.
Okay.
And the haptic feedback, my first exposure to haptics was with the Apple Watch.
Very super cool. Super cool. Also the I Force Touch was
Yeah,
using haptic engines as well. If you had an iPhone during that era, now they don't have it anymore. Now they have like they use a long press
touch.
and just the vibration. Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's not exactly the haptic touch Force Touch that was before, but the Apple Watches do still have the haptic touch. Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah.
yeah. So with the haptic feedback for a controller, basically what they were saying, and this was detailed in the Wired article,
I think I have it right
is
here.
that
Yeah.
different surfaces will give you a different sensation traveling over them. The best description I thought was in a PS5 dev kit port of Gran Turismo Sport.
Mm-hmm.
They drove over pavement and they drove over gravel and dirt, and they could feel a
Ooh.
distinction in those two surfaces through the rumble in the controller.
Okay, that's actually very, very enticing.
Another description in Astrobot was they were walking over, I guess, just like a solid steel platform, and then they went to something slippery. They went on a patch of ice, I think, and the haptics made the analog sticks for the character through that control and through that like connection you have to that character. It felt more like you were trying to maneuver on ice
That's really cool.
because of
That's
the way
really
the
cool.
haptic and vibrations work.
I have a question. Do you always have your vibration on your controllers, or no?
Yes,
Always, no matter what
always.
game.
Yeah.
Okay. With me, I have it on for single player experiences and single player games. If I'm
Mhm.
playing competitive multiplayer, I do not have vibration on.
Interesting.
Yeah, it just messes with the aim sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I know, and like it probably, likely it doesn't. It's probably just a placebo, but
Hmm.
I just feel like it does. So with multiplayer like arena shooters or multiplayer in general, I don't use vibration, but when it's like a single player campaign, yeah, I just put it on. But that sounds really neat. That sounds really
Yeah.
cool. Also, there was something here that the adaptive triggers.
Yeah, I was just gonna get into
Okay,
that.
okay, cool. Okay, okay.
So what they're calling adaptive triggers is basically a dynamic amount of resistance in the triggers on the controller. And the best way they describe it is that the feeling of pulling a trigger on a shotgun with the triggers on the controller is going to feel different than aiming and drawing the string of a bow and arrow.
Interesting.
The amount of resistance you're going to have there. Because pulling a trigger on a gun, which I've never done in my life, I'm assuming is pretty much like pulling a trigger on a controller. I can't imagine there's much resistance there. I'm sure there's a little bit, but like you don't need intense strength
Not at all.
to pull a trigger.
Yeah, not at all. It's a little bit more than a controller, but it's pretty easy to pull a trigger. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
With a bow and arrow, though, which I have experience with,
I don't.
it is much more involved with most of your body. So it's a very different experience in real life. So being able to replicate that resistance of the bowstring, maybe like when you start pulling the trigger, it's a
Mm,
little easy. But the further you get down to that button press, the more resistance you have, and the further, like the more pressure you have to put on that trigger.
right.
That is very interesting to me.
That okay. So now, when when they say these differences in like resistance, right,
Mhm.
with the triggers, are they talking about the I guess how easy or how hard it'll be to pull that trigger? Like in terms of like, are they going to? Is it essentially what they're talking about? Is are they decreasing the amount of time it would take you to cover the distance of the travel time of that trigger, and that's what's making it kind of feel different, or is it? I think that's what it's saying, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the description basically said that the spring they have is going to be dynamic in the amount of tension it holds, and
right?
because of that, it will affect the travel time depending on what you're doing
Okay, I see. I see.
for that button press.
That makes sense. Okay, gotcha,
That's how I understood it.
gotcha. Okay, okay, definitely
Uh,
makes sense.
yes, and like you mentioned, there was a patent for an AI assistant for the PS5.
Yeah.
Ruben mentioned that in the Wired write-up. They said no comment, but he did notice a hole in the controller, which would make sense, where a microphone could be listening to things. And for next gen, I guess like this isn't something radically out of left field, you know.
Uh huh.
Stadia has their OK Google thing, you know,
Right.
like OK Google, how do I beat this game? You know, that's how they demoed it.
Yeah.
Xbox has Cortana, or at least Microsoft has Cortana, so I'm assuming if this is a trend, if this is the gimmick that all next gen consoles have going in, instead of like a camera accessory like we have in previous generations, if
Mm-hmm.
the next one's an AI assistant, Microsoft has one built already, you know?
Right.
So I'm figuring Cortana will be in some sort of fashion implemented into the Xbox.
Yeah.
But yeah, having an AI assistant, when I saw that, I was not phased. I was like, okay, makes sense.
I just feel like I'm never gonna use it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I will. You know, like maybe they'll have some functionality in there that might entice me. But from just the way it sounds, it seems like I wouldn't utilize it. But who knows? You know.
As someone with a PlayStation camera for my VR headset,
Mm-hmm.
the number of times I've seen the bar pop up that says, if you want to issue a voice command, say PlayStation this. I did not bring it to school with me this year. The number of times I've wanted to just say PlayStation on, PlayStation boot up Hulu, I cannot tell you how much I would be using that assistant.
Really? Okay. Okay. So you definitely are in. You definitely like utilize that.
As far as convenience goes, yeah. I mean, I'm sure
Right.
there's going to be a paranoia about like, oh, Sony's listening to me,
I
you
mean,
know,
hey,
that we're
you're
going to run into.
you're gonna hear my silent sobs at night as I as I cover myself with the pillow.
Yeah.
Nothing much. All right, deal. Interesting, interesting stuff.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything with the DualShock. Um,
Improved speaker
I'm
as
I'm
well. I don't know if we talked about
mhm.
that. Interesting.
I- I'm glad they're sticking with pretty much the same design we have now
Yeah, yeah.
because I'm with you. I think comfort level DualShock 4 is almost unrivaled as far as how comfortable it is.
Hmm.
Um, the downside for me is the battery life, and I should mention that it's going to be using a new battery, extended battery. It's a heavier battery, so that adds to the weight as well as the haptic technology. And this new battery is chargeable via USB-C, so the
Hmm.
charge should take significantly less time
Ooh,
than.
they're using USB-C.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. We like to hear that. Okay, we like to hear
And
that.
Switch owners may know how fast USB-C can charge controllers with the Pro controller or the system itself. So happy to see PlayStation adopt that.
We love to hear that. We really do. Okay.
And that's pretty much the extent, based on my memory, of these articles as far as hardware is concerned. There's a few more like details about more descriptive ways to convey the ideas of haptics than I provided. The triggers, I think, were pretty straightforward. They did say also that shooting a shotgun and shooting a bow, the two examples with the trigger, will in turn feel different with the haptics as well,
Hmm.
as far as the rumble of that action would give us. But there is a little information about software. There's two key pieces of information regarding software.
Okay.
One is about PS4.
A PS4.
Yes. Ghost of Tsushima has been reconfirmed to be a PlayStation 4 game. And I think this is worth mentioning because I was
No,
convinced
absolutely.
that that was going to be a PS5 launch game.
I was convinced that it'd be PS5 launch when Part Two was coming out in 2020.
Yes.
I'm like, where on the timeline? Because as we are very much well aware of, you know what I'm saying? At least for this generation, Sony has definitely been, well, not Sony, but PlayStation has definitely been focused on like having two big, at least two really, really big exclusives, right? One at the beginning of the year, one at the end of the year. Not, I mean, by end, I mean like spring and fall,
Yeah.
you know, around those quarters. But if we already had, well, if we have for 2020, we know our first exclusive of that of the year is going to be Last of Us Part Two, right? And then the PS5 is coming out in the fall. What we all presumed. Then I'm like, all right, Ghost is going to be a launch PS5 game. You know that will
Right.
launch also on PS4 if you have it. You know.
Yeah. And last year we did have God of War April, Detroit in May, and Spider-Man in September, which
Yes. Yeah.
I would say Ghost is a bigger deal than Detroit
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would agree.
just because of the scope of it.
I
But
would agree. I would agree.
yeah, so it seems like Ghost is probably going to be May to June area.
Yeah. Now when we think goes, man, is is Ghost is Ghost a summer game? Is Ghost gonna take that like June, like end last exclusive that Last of Us One originally was for PS3? Is that
I
what
think
they're
it
going
could,
with? Hmm.
probably.
I know. Listen, all I know is that if it launches before like July, we're gonna have a very packed 2020. Like 2020 is already packed with a
Yeah,
lot of really good games.
2020,
We're
the first quarter specifically is ridiculous. Q1 and
and
Q2, somebody did a write-up this morning because we're not covering this in much depth, but Doom Eternal got delayed.
that's what I was about to say. Yeah, yeah. And to add on that, now we have Doom Eternal in 2020, which I'm personally okay with.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I have
Yeah,
time to play the first Doom for 2015, so like I'm cool. But yeah, it's gonna be a very packed Q1, Q2 of 2020 for sure.
Before we move on to the next piece of software information, I just wanted to give a quick little rundown of what the general idea of the first half of the year looks like.
Okay.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps,
Mm-hmm.
The Last of Us Part 2, Gods and Monsters, Iron Man VR, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Watch Dogs Legion, Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing, uh, Bloodlines 2, Rainbow Six Quarantine, Cyberpunk 2077, Avengers, Dying Light 2, Minecraft Dungeons, Wasteland 3, and more.
That was
Yeah,
15 games.
Benji Sales on Twitter.
We're screwed. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a big fraction of that I am buying day one.
Oh, for yeah.
There's a lot of day ones there. I'm like, oh man, oh
Yeah,
man,
so
oh god.
I hope that the PS5 launch delivers. We do get a hint of a PS5 title in one of
Ooh.
these articles. I'm blanking on which one it is, but
How many games did we use?
Blue.
Oh my god, is it Blue Point's original IP?
No,
Oh, it's
we
not.
don't have a title.
Okay,
We have confirmation it's PS5,
okay,
and it's quote a big one. You can figure it out from there.
a big one.
So once again, they're saying their next game is big.
Okay, what? Now, Christian, this is very simple, right?
Yeah,
What games are big?
exactly. I mean, Shadow of the Colossus was big, literally and figuratively.
Do you think they could be referring to? Oh, like another Shadow of the Colossus, like
Oh
a.
no. I was just
Oh,
referencing
okay.
that in terms of their quote. And in the
Gotcha.
past, they said the next game we're doing is bigger, is the biggest one we've done, and it's like you just did Shadow.
Do you
That's
think it's
crazy big.
because I've been hearing some murmurs. You know what I'm saying? I've been
Hmm.
peeking in through back alleys of the industry. You know, trying to see what's up. People keep name dropping Demon Souls.
I think it's Demon Souls.
Interesting.
Because
Interesting.
Demon Souls was one of the first PS3 exclusives. It kicked off the entire Souls craze. People didn't really respect it until after the fact. The
Hmm.
online was very innovative, very ahead of its time. Got shut down recently. I think it's probably Demon Souls.
What's interesting also about that is that a lot of people were saying that. So it was like during the summer.
Mm.
Colin Moriarty on his podcast was talking about how he was very very confused at how there wasn't a second party game that's exclusive that hasn't been announced yet that is definitely coming out and that's definitely almost ready. You know,
Hmm.
and the game that he's talking about presumably is Demon Souls. So if the Demon Souls remake by Blue Point is coming out for PS5, then that's just
I could
interesting.
see
I
it
don't
be
know. Yeah.
launch
Yeah.
if that is the case, if his information is correct,
Yeah.
and if it is that game that we're referring to.
Yeah.
I could see the Blue Point game be launched, and if the next gen launches with the Souls exclusives, I feel like that's going to be a big deal.
I thought it would. Yeah, that would definitely be a big deal.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. This is so damn. So they only talked about one game, huh?
Yes.
Okay, only one game. Obviously there'll be more, but okay, yeah, one game. They
As
have.
far as exclusives go,
Mm,
you and I have talked about this in the past. We speculated.
indeed.
I'm going to double down on as far as talking about a PlayStation exclusive IP that's going to be there at launch. I think it's Horizon.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's. Yeah. I'm with you on that. I do feel like Horizon. I feel like there's honestly a solid chance that we'll get the successor to Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, sequel to Ratchet?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of take that family friendly game slot type vibe. You know.
Are you sure it won't be Knack 3?
Oh, listen. We all want to.
It's Mark Cerny.
We all want to. Oh wait, damn it! It is Mark Cerny. Shit. Yeah, that's a good. Damn, that's a good point. Nah, okay, scratch that. It'll be Knack 3. Um, listen, Knack is a definitive exclusive. Let's not play here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, 4 launch titles. Okay,
Okay, 4.
Knack 3,
Word.
Horizon 2,
Mm-hmm.
Demon Souls remake,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna give you this because you made me believe
Don't play with me.
Whatever that weird studio is doing an Uncharted game,
Oh, it's dude, don't, dude.
maybe they've been quite. When did they get created?
Oh,
Like 2017.
years ago. It was around Lost Legacy years ago.
So I think 2017. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah,
So
man.
yeah, if they've been quiet for that long, I could see it.
I just want them to acknowledge them. I just want an official like, hey, this studio was good. They're doing so. And technically, I think I was wrong about the nature of them because I believe they are just a subsect of Sony San Diego,
Okay.
right? I don't think they're like a new. I don't think they'll get a new name. I think they're actually a part of Sony San Diego. I believe they're just not working on MOB. Like they're working on something else. Yeah. But I think I definitely feel like they are going to be prop for PS5. I don't think they will drop anything on PS4. 100%. So yeah, I
I
mean
want to
maybe yeah.
go ahead.
No, yeah, like I was gonna say yeah. So like maybe they'll have their game done by PS5, and I say maybe, but I'm pretty sure they'll be because it's definitely been a while, And if they're making like I mean, who knows what level of game they're making? Like, if they're gonna make it, if they are doing the Uncharted franchise, are they doing the length and size, or probably bigger of a traditional Uncharted game, like similar to like Uncharted 4? Are they doing like the Lost Legacy route? You know, I thought about last night, like, are they doing maybe nah, that sounds dumb. Never mind. I was gonna say like standalone adventures featuring different characters, going on this thing, whatever. But no, no, no,
Maybe.
maybe I don't know. We'll see.
I do hope the launch lineup delivers.
Mm.
I think the PS4 launch. I didn't hop on the PS4 until I think half a year after it came out. Maybe.
I was day one. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was Shadowfall,
GTA
Resogun.
5 was the year after, right?
Yeah, GTA 5 was summer after. Yeah, so that
Okay,
that
because
wasn't
that
launched. That would have been
that
so.
fall is when I got my PS4.
That would have been so
So I got it a
helpful.
year late.
Oh my god, if we had GTA 5 day one on PS5, that would have been so lit. But remembering, damn, what the hell was Knack obviously as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I feel like the PlayStation and this generation didn't really start popping off until Bloodborne because that was
Yeah.
February 2015.
Yeah, that's about to say 2015 definitely.
So I hope the lineup is strong because it seems like, or people are at least speculating that now, even with this further information, that at minimum PS5 is going to be like $500.
Really?
I saw somebody tweet out, they were like, "Hey, I did a Google search of like the lowest on Amazon, like the lowest verified seller of a 500 gig SSD, comparing the like AMD Ryzen components or whatever."
Yeah.
And they're like, "I know they make them like custom for consoles, but like
It can't be that
it's
cheaper. Right. Right.
yeah." Which I don't know. I really don't think the PS5 is gonna be $500.
That's okay. I'm with you on that, right? I feel like especially the guys at PlayStation, right? I believe they have a very first-hand good view at what it means to launch a console that is just as good, if not better, than your competitors, but at a cheaper price. You know?
Yeah, I really, because the thing is, like, for us, the thing that I think sold us on the PlayStation 4 outside of the fact that we are PlayStation most of our lives was the games and the presentation of it all.
100%. Yep.
You know, because like
Mm.
Xbox has that super cut of their reveal of the Xbox One where they say TV like a
TV,
thousand
TV,
times.
TV, TV. Yeah.
But like average people didn't see that, you know?
Right.
So I think it's more of the fact that it was what $100 cheaper at launch.
$100 cheaper. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that the PS4 is like still selling incredibly well and they have that giant install base, I would be shocked. I would be like blown away if it was over max. If it was over 450, but if it was over 400, I'd be like, oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I think 400 is probably where they're gonna end up because if it were me, I'm a simple person. I'm not a crazy businessman. I don't know much about it, but I do know how people think.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like to get an early lead and capitalize on the success of this generation and the goodwill and the crazy install base the PS4 has, I would be fine eating some of the cost
No,
if
100%.
it meant getting a fraction of that install base already there
I
year one.
I really think they, because if I remember correctly, I think the PS4 sold at a loss, I believe, on launch, right? And they obviously do that because they make most of their money on software, on licenses, on you buying games, right? So, with that being said, right? But I guess now I'm trying to like now there was something that I just thought of as you were saying this, right? Don't know if you've seen it, right? But last night, I was serving in the bar, doing my thing, People were watching Monday Night Football, all the good stuff, right? And I saw this interesting advertisement on the TV, right? It was a PlayStation Now commercial.
Hmm.
And they were advertising their new price, $10 a month. Very, very appealing price. I like it a lot personally. $60 a year. You can buy a full catalog for a year long of PlayStation and other third party games on the service for the same price as a brand new game for
Hmm.
the year, right? And now I'm like, man, okay, so like, is their strategy going to be to, because I know they have said that, yeah, hey, like we are gonna push PS Now a little bit more, and like we are gonna use streaming as like one of the avenues of ways to interface with PlayStation hardware. You know what I'm saying? Um, so are they like? Is that like a subtle, I guess, showing of their play of pushing this, of like pushing this software and pushing services to kind of counteract the loss that they're gonna have to take by getting the hardware in our homes? You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to say because I think you could easily counter it with the fact that, or with the opinion that they're doing it as damage control because they don't have a strong lineup for launch.
That
So it's
that could
like,
be a thing.
hey, $60, you'd be paying $60 for a launch title anyway. Pay $60, have access to all these old games.
That's a good point. And also, we have backwards compatibility.
Right.
So I don't know if they're pressured, quote unquote, to even deliver a really good launch title. I mean, launch lineup. You know, because shit, like you can go play God of War, like go
Yeah.
ahead, you can play Spider Man. Huh? Last was
So
Part 2. You could play. Quite interesting.
I was not expecting this to happen this week or today.
This is, oh man. So like, what does this mean? Are we are we not getting a PSX?
Man,
I
I don't know. Probably not.
I was gonna go. I was gonna make that drive. Quite honestly, if
I
I
bet
if I can make it. But
I don't think we're gonna have a PSX this year. I bet we have one next year to celebrate the launch of PS5.
ooh, okay.
I
So
could see
prop it up
that
as
being
like, all right, new gen, bringing it back. Here it is.
yeah.
Right. I like that.
Maybe revamp it, do it in a different way.
Bring it.
I
Yeah.
think that's where the hope of PSX lies.
Right. Right.
Personally.
I see. I see. So I guess overall, how do you feel about all this? Do a lot of things give you thumbs up? Are you enjoying what you see here?
So I'm interested by most of this. I think the controller stuff is not gimmicky. I think it's interesting because
Mm-hmm.
I have seen how crazy HD Rumble is on the Switch. Like in Mario Odyssey, there's, for an example of how diverse it can feel. Just taking off in your ship,
Mm-hmm.
standard Rumble. But if you take over an enemy that their ability is to hover up with a stream of water, you feel like there's water running through the controller.
Oh wait, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the squid things.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I do remember
Yeah,
that. I do
like
remember that.
the diversity and flexibility of HD Rumble, or in this case, just haptic feedback, is not just novel, but like I feel like it adds to the experience where seeing the Switch Lite doesn't have HD Rumble is like a detractor on probably like one of the three reasons I haven't bought it yet. You know?
I see.
Like
I
I
feel you.
think that adds more to it than people think. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Everything they've said about making more choice be at the forefront is like, hey, which modes of this game do you want installed at one time?
Mm.
Uh, the choice there, the things they've been saying about optimization and cutting down file sizes and opening up more possibilities for developers, it makes me feel more than ever, like I said, that I'm ready for the PS5. I'm ready for next gen.
That's
Because
so cool.
this past year, I was like, man, I'm fine having my PS4 for like 3 more years.
Oh no, 100%, hundred
But
percent.
like
Oh
hearing all
yeah,
this stuff, it makes me be like, oh, if this is the direction we're going, I see a clear reason now why we feel like it's ready.
yeah. I mean, there's definitely no question. I will be getting PS5 day one. That's no surprise to anyone in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Um, I got my PS4 day one. As well, not day one. It was week one. It came out
Mhm.
like, oh shoot, I think
November.
yeah, it was November, but I got it Black Friday, but it came out a few days prior.
Gotcha.
But I think a lot of stuff is really cool. My, I guess, most enticing thing is the controller, surprisingly, just because because I'm sure you know of the Scuff controllers, right? Those like
Yes.
really fancy ones, yeah. So with them talking about the differences that they're gonna make in triggers, right? I hope that also extends the conversation into allowing us to mess with the triggers manually, right? And
Mm.
tuning it to what we would personally like. So if a game is not dynamically changing the triggers based off the weapons, like in a, for example, multiplayer game, right? We could essentially have a pro controller at that point where we're able to lower the travel time of the trigger, stuff like that. Just like little things like that, I think. And again, they didn't straight up say that. That's just a hope I have. Um, but I do like the lower file sizes. That's cool. I
Mm.
want to play Destiny 2. I'm back in Destiny 2, by the way, dude. I'm back.
Nice.
I'm back. I'm back. Um, but I went to go boot it up. 28 gig file to update. I'm saying, all right. I went to work. But I like how they're talking about at least like having a lowering of the file sizes, and who knows how low they're gonna actually get. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like what they mean by lower, like do they mean by like, all right, what was 110 gigs on PS4 is now 80. Like it's lower. It's still a lot, but it's
Yeah.
lower. You know what I'm saying? Um, but we will see. Ray tracing also is pretty cool. I know we already went over that with lastwire.com interview, but it's looking good. It's looking good.
Yeah.
It's looking good. I like it. There's nothing here that really seems too outlandish or whatever. Um, I guess low key the on the main menu where it could tell you info about the game that you're playing. I'm hoping that's not gimmicky and that's actually pretty cool and pretty useful. But
Y-
the way they talked about it, it seemed like it was gonna be pretty useful. So
In my head, I was thinking of how like notifications work, except it's just more visible.
right, right, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm interested. I'm looking forward to it.
It's looking
I gotta
good.
start saving up, but
It's looking good. It's looking good. It's looking good. Mm. 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 Well,
you feeling better about it now?
oh
Or
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I was just not I was just not anticipating this. I was ready to give a breakdown of Borderlands 3. I was ready to get my notes out. I guess not. Oh well. Oh well. Maybe I'll do a separate video about Borderlands 3. Maybe I'll do a separate one.
yeah,
But
you could.
TLDR Borderlands 3 thumbs up. If you like Borderlands, you're gonna like this one.
Hmm.
If you didn't like it before, you're not gonna like this one. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
And also, this game's story starts off really good, and then it's like, huh, like this is
Like,
interesting.
oh, this is just Borderlands.
Like this is quite interesting. And then I kept hearing the echoes of Christian saying, "Tales had a better story than any other Borderlands," and I'm like, "No, that can't be right." And that's like, "Oh shit." I guess it is.
It's right.
Like, damn.
Mhm.
Huh. But yeah, it's good though. Very very good.
Very cool.
Mm,
Well, that's gonna do it for the episode.
indeed.
Kevin, if the good people want to find you somewhere, where can they find you?
At the KDS123, follow me on there on Twitter as well as over here, locked on PlayStation Source. We have Road to Part 2 this week as well. Don't know if I'll just sprinkle around the news. So along with Cross Circle moving to Tuesday mornings, we are moving Road to Part 2 to Saturdays. Right.
Nice.
Just because when we shifted our gears into going into the school year, we thought it'd be a good idea to record on Thursday and not post all the way till next Wednesday. Turns out, not that great of an idea. So we're gonna have a shorter record to release time for y'all. So I think this week we're going over the story of Ishmael from
cool.
from Last of Us. I think we go over that because Starks has no idea what that is. So I'm gonna break that down. Should be fun, but keep it locked on the channel. Subscribe, all that good stuff. And where can the good people find you, Christian?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Chris N. Buckley. Here on the channel, like Kevin said, we have 2 podcasts. Both of those are available on podcast services. If you just look up PlayStation Source on your service of choice, you should probably find it. We have the long-form content like this show and Road to Part 2 on there. I have a Star Wars show every Friday.
Fire.
Recorded episode 2 yesterday. It was a review of Attack of the Clones. We talked about the Kevin Feige Star Wars movie he's working on, what that could be. And that's coming out this Friday. Episode 1 is up on the road to Rise of Skywalker. If you want to check that out, youtube.com/joyclicks. You can see it.
So I've been waiting to let the episodes kind of build up, right? Are you going in episode 1, 2, 3, or are you going in? It seems like you're going in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that kind of where you're going?
No, we're doing 1, 2, 3, Solo, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, so timeline order.
Yes.
Okay, timeline order. Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. I see. Video.